friends and neighbors. My name is Bob, and I am currently working on a feature film called Duck Rabbit, written and directed by my good friend Mike. I thought it might be fun to document my process of recording sound, editing, and doing post-production on this micro-budget feature as it happens, because maybe you are doing something similar or would like to and are curious about how to go about it. Now, this is not meant to be a tutorial per se. I don't claim to be an expert at most of these things, but this is my second feature film in this role, and I have learned a few things along the way, some of which you may find interesting or useful. Some of which you will probably laugh at and say, "Why is he doing that? That's terribly inefficient." And that's fine too. I welcome feedback of any kind. Filmmaking is, after all, the most collaborative art form. But enough of the blah blah blah. Let's have a drink. Get started. Let's get started.
Part 1. Production Gear.
On the set, I serve one main role, location sound mixer. That means when the actor people talk, I press a button and record what they say. That button is located on this thing. This thing is the Zoom F6 multi-track field recorder. The 6 stands for 6 inputs. That's where you plug stuff in. And the F stands for fun. Probably. The special thing about this piece of kit is that it uses 32-bit float-point recording and dual analog to digital converters. All of those big words mean one big thing. Even if your actors are too soft or too loud, you can still capture good, clean audio of them saying the funny words. Without pretending to know all the technical details of this gear, suffice it to say that it makes my job a ton easier on set and in post-production. Now we need a way to move the sound from the air around the actor's face into that little magic box. I used to use soup cans and string, but I found that the mid-range response left a little something to be desired, so I'm using a much more modern technology called the microphone. The kind of microphone you will see on set most often is the shotgun mic, often called a boom mic, because it lives at the end of a long aluminum thing called a boomstick.
This is my boomstick!
Sorry, boom pole, it's called. This lets the sound mixer get the mic near the actors' heads without standing in the middle of the shot and ruining everything.
Unlike you, Jimmy. You know what you did. When will you ever learn?
My shotgun mic is the Rode NTG-1. All alone, it looks like this, but if it goes outside, it likes to wear a little foam condom. And if it's really windy out, it wears this little fur coat, often called a dead cat or morbid pussy in French. Disclaimer, that is not actually French and no one ever calls it that. If I can't get close enough with the boom pole and shotgun microphone, I use these little guys. These are wireless lavalier microphones. They're called that because they doesn't got no wires, I reckon. And a lavalier is someone who sings songs about magma, I think. The particular ones I use are the Rode Wireless Go system. These are very easy to hide under the actor's clothes or somewhere on the set, and have a pretty decent range for their price. They are not perfect by any means, but for a tiny budget production like this, they do an admirable job. Did I mention the total budget for this film is $10,000? Yeah, very micro. Of course, someone has to take the pictures if we want this to be a movie, 24 of them every second, in fact, and sometimes, and don't tell anyone I told you this, but sometimes even 48 or 60 of them every single second. Luckily, there are machines now that take that many pictures automatically, so our camera operator's finger doesn't get tired. His name is Travis, and the machine he uses to take all those pictures is called the Zcam E2S6. I don't know exactly what those numbers and letters mean, but I do know that this cinema camera shoots up to 60 FPS at 6K and up to 100 FPS at 4K, which is a lot of Ks. And that means pretty pictures using a Super 35 sensor and boasting 14 stops of dynamic range. More than film stock. Apparently no one told it that boasting is a sin. All kidding aside, this camera produces beautiful images that are a joy to edit. In addition to that camera, Travis also has a number of black tubes that go on the front of it. Legend has it that these are called lenses. The ones he's using for this feature are anamorphic lenses, and before you ask, no, they don't have anything to do with the book series from the 1990s. They do, however, make very pretty blue lens flares and make everything look really neato and even nifty from time to time. This is my first time editing anamorphic footage, and there are some extra things you have to do to it, which we will get into later. There's lots of claptrap and even a little balderdash about squeezing and aspect ratios coming up in a later episode. Now, in order to be able to see all those pictures, you need some lights. I don't know much about lights, but luckily, there is Alex. In addition to being a very handsome young man and, from what I hear, an excellent salsa dancer, he also has a truck full of lights and stuff, and he also knows where to put them to make the pictures pretty. Maybe one day we can talk to Alex and he can explain what he does. Anyway, that's about the extent of the stuff we have on set to record everything, so that's going to be all for today. But don't worry, be happy. Because in the next episode, we will take all the sound and picture we recorded on set and ingest and organize everything in our editing software. It's the sexiest part of the whole process, because it involves metadata. So join me next time for all the intrigue of smart bins and clip colors in DaVinci Resolve. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you had half as much fun watching this as I did making it, then I had twice as much fun as you.